In this video, I want to talk a little bit about being more efficient and productive as a Salesforce freelancer or independent consultant. This is a conversation that I had with Rachel, one of our top freelancers in our freelance course, and she's really getting into the thick of freelancing and has multiple clients and sort of figuring out how to juggle everything. And one of the first things you're going to come across when you start balancing clients is just having better time management, being more effective, using tools for productivity, but then also just structuring your life to be more suitable to juggle multiple clients and a lot of responsibilities. This is really beneficial to freelancers, but it's also beneficial to really anyone working in any job environment, but especially as Salesforce professionals. So be sure to take a quick look and also check out the video description where we have a free freelancing course as well as a paid program if you're interested in advancing your Salesforce career. I hope you enjoy it and let me know what you think.
I just was kind of just interested just to kind of pick your brain again, just about productivity and how you keep like track of your major projects, right? So some things are starting to come up and do you actually use Salesforce for yourself, like for your opportunities, for your clients? Do you store your clients in, Salesforce, or do you have like a separate system to like keep track of all that stuff? Yes, I was really interested in that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I want to think through this in a couple of different ways. So productivity in general. So if we're talking about, all right, here's how I'll start this conversation. Productivity. This is how I work. Basically, a day of work, if I'm going to sit down for most people, there are two sections of their day at work. There's the morning section, and then there's this break, and there's the afternoon section of work. So it really doesn't matter. Those two sections are very much the same. So I'll just say for a section of work, doesn't matter which one, there's certain needs that I have. So I'm going to need water. I'm personally probably going to need coffee. I'm going to need a bathroom, and I'm just going to need a comfortable workspace. Yeah, that's what I need for a work session. Okay. So for maximum productivity, just as a person, and most people think like, yeah, Brad, this is all no duh. Just implement this, and your life will change. It's ridiculous how simple you can change your productivity. Yeah. Just get I don't care what you can get, like a Brita filter little cup thing, like the little pour. You can plug that in your wall. It'll keep a nice like half gallon of chilled water in your office. Yep. Keep it in your office, like your office space. Keep it in your office. Same thing with coffee. Like get yourself a simple little Keurig or Nespresso or whatever. Put that in your office. If you need a cup of coffee, you got it. What you're doing, and then have access to a restroom where you don't have to enter in to the family world. If that makes sense. So what you're doing, all you're doing, these are all things, identify the things you need in a work session. Yeah. And then find a way to get those into your space where you don't have to break focus. Because I can get up from my computer and get get the little carafe and get some coffee or get some water or go to the bathroom, but I never leave the work headspace. So I'm always in it, and I can always focus and I can be on the phone and I can do what I need to do. But I never enter into the world of my daughter needs some more water for her, or she needs help getting dressed, or she needs someone to help her because she's having just this major life crisis at the moment. I don't have to accidentally interject myself into that world because I'm just trying to grab a cup of water. I'm just trying to grab some coffee. Or I'm just trying to run to the bathroom. Because it just breaks you like that. Your spouse might just have a quick question about, hey, I'm making a grocery list and I was wondering if you wanted this one or this one. And it's like, okay, I forgot about the solution. And you may not even realize it, but your brain was working on that solution, or your brain was already writing the email that you're about to send. And by breaking that, you just lost your focus and you have to regain that. That's probably the biggest productivity loss for people who work from home. Find a quiet space, even if that quiet space means a big pair of over-ear headphones. And that's how you don't have to have your own office, but you can just have these ground rules of like headphones are on. I'm not in the room. Like if these are over my ears, I'm not here. And you have to work that out because it's going to save you if you think like having QuickTime to do your, sending your invoices is going to save you time, that's not going to save you nearly as much time as the simple things I just talked about. That's going to save you 10 minutes a day. You know what I mean? And that may not sound like much, but when you talk about doing that 200 times, 300 times a year, you're going to save a lot of 10-minute pieces.
Okay.
So that's what I would say is like my number one productivity piece. I know a lot of people are looking for tools to use, and we can talk about that. But what I found is that designing your work sessions has much more efficiency tied to it than a tool. Okay, so now we can actually answer the question of tools. So when it comes to productivity, now there are a few different things, especially when you're running your own business. There's productivity in business, there's productivity when interfacing with clients and managing projects, and there's productivity to the actual work that you do. So project management, I would keep it pretty simple. I would say you can get a free version of a tool called Trello. You've probably heard of it. I believe they are owned by Jira, which is like the mainstream enterprise project management tool. But Trello is a great tool for managing a handful of projects. Those deliverables, what you need to do, it takes some time getting used to using a tool like that. Honestly, for years, I simply used an Excel sheet that was like, I think across the top, it would be broken down by week, like what I need to accomplish each week over the course of this project. And then down the left-hand side would be like phases of the project with deliverable lines. And I would know each week which one of those was supposed to be delivered for me to track well. And for me, that worked reasonably well. I would say as long as you only have like maybe 3 or 4 clients, you can pull that off. Now, I would advise using a tool like Trello and getting comfortable with that because it's going to make it easier for you. You just grab the card and move it forward. But what I will say is you can also just get a Salesforce Dev org. And what I would do is really what you're looking to do for me would be grab an object. You might even repurpose opportunity because what I'm looking for is the Kanban view. For my list view. And so I've just got a list of, projects. And then basically the stages of that project are sort of where I'm at and what the deliverables are and those kind of things. And all I'm trying to do is move them from stage to stage by checking off the deliverables. And you can even you could have simple automation set up where you have a list of tasks for that project. And then when these 3 tasks are completed, then that automatically moves the opportunity to the next stage or your project to the next stage, which moves forward in the Kanban view. And you can get an idea of that. So, and that can all be customized exactly how you need it because we're Salesforce professionals and we can build it exactly how we want it in like 2 hours. But if you want to use a tool like Trello, that sometimes that can carry weight, especially for entry level sort of beginner freelancers, because if you ever do go look for a day job at a consulting company in the future, it can be beneficial to say that you've managed projects using a Jira
product.
Company, So they like that. It shows that you have some methodology behind your projects and that kind of stuff. So no, I think it's pretty project management. Basically, Trello, you might want to use Salesforce and repurpose it. Especially if you're already using Salesforce, just having one tool for everything is nice. Other things, Chrome extensions are really nice. There's one called force.com logins. I would highly recommend that one. That one allows, if you're just an internal, I shouldn't say just, if you are an internal Salesforce professional just working in one company, it's not going to help you out that much. It's you might use it for production and maybe a sandbox or something like that. If you are a consultant, it is a must-have because you're going to have production for these 4 clients. You're going to have staging sandboxes. You're going to have the baseline sandboxes for whatever you're just toying with. You might even have your Trailhead playground. But Force.com logins, you can store separate logins where you just quickly click the company, say log into production, and immediately there. So that's one thing. The other thing is there's a Chrome extension called, I believe it's called Colored Favicons, Favicons. And what that does is, as a consultant, you're going to find yourself logged into multiple client orgs at once, which is a recipe for disaster. So what this does is it puts a different color on the tabs when you're logged into a different org. And so immediately when you're scrolling up to the top of your screen to click on the tab, you realize you just went from a green tab to an orange tab. And you're like, ooh, I just went from that company to a different company. I need to see what I'm doing, maybe close some tabs or figure out what I'm doing for today. And that one's a good one to protect you. The other one I would say is a lot of people don't use this one, but you got to use it. And it is called Loom. I don't care if you use the free version or the paid version. It is a screen recording Chrome extension. So you can take, if you use the free version, you can take 5-minute videos. And you can talk, you can have your face down in the bottom, you can have your screen recording. It's so quick and easy. You just click the icon, you click record, and you start talking. So why do you do this? You do that because if you really take the time to think about how your day is broken out and how your time's utilized, you're going to notice this really awful situation with meetings. And with meetings, like anytime you have to get on a meeting with someone. And what happens is a lot of times when you're working with clients, you can have something, maybe it was an issue and you fixed it. And they're like, okay, can you show me real quick? And then they want to get on a meeting. And then it takes 30 minutes because they ask about other stuff too. Or it could just be the situation of, hey, I've got something to demo to you. When do you have time? And then you have like 6 emails back and forth picking a time. And then they push the meeting back anyway. And you have, and like, it's this whole thing that disrupts your workflow. So what I've done is I've trained all of my clients that I don't meet unless it's something really serious. Like we can have a weekly stand-up call. I'll be there, but we're not just going to meet for fun. Like if I have something to show you, I'll make a quick video. So what I do is I've trained them that I make a quick Loom video, might be 3 minutes. Hey, I just wanted to show you the new functionality. This is your new Lightning component on your opportunity page. This is what it does. It's really cool. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you have any questions. Show them how to use it. Send it over. They can share that video with anyone. It's a quick little training video on how to use something. Instead of getting on a call and getting all these questions, they can email those back to you. You can answer those while you're brushing your teeth. You know, you don't have to get on a meeting for that. And the first time I send them a Loom video, I tell them what an amazing tool it is, what an efficiency tool it is, how it saves them time for me billing, and it saves me time to get more work done for them. And it's awesome. And then I send them an install link so that they can get Loom on their computer. And that way they can send me quick videos too. And I'll tell you, like, once they see how cool it is to just be able to send quick 3-minute videos back and forth, they get on board, because what it does is it turns emails into mini screen share sessions. And so now you can send an email. Here's the details. Here's a quick 2-minute video about that topic. Let me know if you have any questions. It adds depth to email exchanges. And you'll find that you don't need to meet for half the things you were meeting about. And that's going to be huge for you. When we talk about freelancing, it's about lifestyle flexibility and being able to do things on the road. And you can even download Loom on your mobile device. So if you need to screen share something, if it's just an email you received and you want to make a quick video about the email and answering the questions, and then just send it back to them like that, you can do it like that. So it has so much value. You don't have to download or upload the videos. They're all just cloud links. So as soon as you complete the video, it copies a link to you, and you just send that over, and it lets you know when they watched it too, which is pretty awesome. So you know if they took a look at it, and they're just not responding, that kind of stuff.
Do you really want an answer to this question?
Yes, but make sure you know it goes both ways. If you get a video, don't click on it until you're ready.
Got it.
So I mean, but seriously, like, Loom is a game changer. People don't realize, but the people who do realize know that it's like, holy smokes. And I think for $10 a month, you can get unlimited videos, but you probably won't need it. I need it because sometimes I'll use it for like a YouTube video, and I might want to do a 20-minute video, and I don't want to see that little timer in the bottom telling me I'm not allowed to share information for much longer. So that kind of thing. So you'll know when you need it, but I mean, biggest expense you're going to pay on that's $10 a month. And usually that's pretty reasonable for most freelancers.
Got it.
Other than that, LastPass is a great tool if you're not already using that. It just it's a really secure way to keep up with all of your passwords. So that can be really beneficial, especially if you're using Salesforce for 3 different companies, Trello for yourself, Salesforce for yourself, maybe your Loom login, or whatever other tools you're using. Those can be LastPass is really beneficial. I would also recommend getting a Chrome extension. There's a lot of these out there, and they all work pretty darn well. Let's get an email tracking Chrome extension. And the reason for this is what it does is if you've ever used like a marketing automation platform, what it does is it puts all that into your emails. Like, so if you use Gmail, it'll tell me if I send an email, it'll tell me if they've opened it, if they clicked on it, how many times they've opened it, when the last time they opened it was, all that kind of stuff, which is just really beneficial. I recommend this a lot to people who are applying for jobs too. They're emailing because you get so worried, like, did I send it? Did they read it? And you can see like, okay, they read it the day I sent it, and then they read it again 3 days later. Like clearly they're figuring this out. Like, I don't need to worry. They're figuring this out. So it just helps you understand, like if you send an email on Friday and you're like, oh my God, I got to get this done this weekend. You can go look and see if they saw your email. And then if they didn't, that wasn't the right form of communication, you might need to give them a call. It's just another layer of quick insight to understand how to do your work. So if you just go into Chrome extensions and click on the top rated email tracker, they're all free, or at least the ones I've used have all been free. And it's just good insight into what's happening with your emails.
Perfect. What about tracking time? So I found a pretty cool app, but I'm interested to hear what you say.
So this is probably one of the things I've been like the worst at, but also the best at. So it's interesting. So when it came to using tools like, I tried to use a tool called Clockify for a little while. Different tools like that, that can work. What you'll find in the consulting world is that it's uncommon for you to be able to work on one client for an extended period of time without taking time for another client. Even if your head's down working on something for 2 hours, chances are you had to respond to a few emails, or maybe some kind of chat or something like that. Or you may have even like flipped, change gears for a second to do something quick that only took 10 minutes and then switch gears back to your main project. That's very normal. There's a few things for this. And so first I'm going to do one of my classic answer something you didn't ask, just as a baseline. So setting expectations with your clients is key. And I tell people all the time, you got to get comfortable with uncomfortable conversations and situations. It's just the way your life is going to be better in your real life and your personal life and your business life. Everything gets better if you just get comfortable having the awkward conversations, knowing it's going to be awkward and you're probably going to be anxious. Just get, I don't know what to say other than just get over it and be nervous and say the words. The reason I bring this up is that a lot of people quickly fall into this rut of their clients think they can call anytime. Their clients think everything's a fire. They think if you email them, you're going to respond back within 30 minutes. They think they can text you. And it's just all the stuff that goes on. So what I would do is I always set a baseline, and here's what I can do for you. Here's when I'm going to be available for you. I'm always available for fires, but then I define a fire. And a fire is typically going to be, there are employees at work that do not have a workaround. They cannot do their job, and there is not a viable workaround. That is a fire. You need to call me. I'm always there for the end users. Those are the people that I serve. I'm always going to be there for you as a client. If there's a fire, I'm there. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what, and the reason you have to have that conversation is
Yep.
because a client doesn't want you to be available 24 hours a day
Yes.
because they think you should be. They want you to
Sure.
be available because they need to feel that their company is being put first.
Okay.
And so what you have to do is say, hey, look, I can't possibly be available. I have other clients, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But I am always going to be there for your company in an emergency situation. Always.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'll hang up the call I'm on and tell them I got to call them back, because they understand also that if they were having a fire, I would do the same for them.
Yes.
That's how I treat you guys. If it's a fire, I'm there. Now, if you
Okay.
start abusing what a fire is, we're going to have this conversation again, because we have to have this mutual respect.
Sure.
But clients always want their company put first, and you need to kind of give them that feeling. What I would recommend doing is setting a precedence that I meet in the mornings.
Okay.
And I do my heads down work in the afternoons. That's sort of your baseline. And that doesn't have to be true. This is a perception you're creating.
Yeah.
So what they start to realize is like, okay, so she's going to respond to, probably going to be pretty responsive to my emails and my meeting invites and those kind of things, as long as they're from like 8 to 12 or something like that. But then after that, she goes into Salesforce magician mode. And she is just heads down doing, they have no idea what we're doing half the time. So it's like they're in there writing code on those crazy screens with all the text going across it. She probably has like 6 monitors. So that's what you're creating, is your perception for the last half of your day, or whatever block of time. You kind of just want to have that time to do your thing. And then if you accept an invite or need to put out a fire, that's your time to do that.
Got it.
Most companies, they get it. They'll pigeonhole you into that. Oh, I'm sending Rachel an invite. Oh, she prefers mornings. Okay, let me do a morning. And then it'll be a request. You want it to be a request if it's going to be 2:00. Like, hey, Rachel, I know, the morning meetings are what we need. We've got this kind of important thing. Is there anything you can do 2:00? And say, okay, that sounds like a pretty important topic. I'm happy to do that. Make an exception. I'll set aside some time on my calendar for 2:00 and I can make that happen. Just let them know that it's something you're making happen. Not something they can just request on a whim.
Got it.
And so all you're doing is creating boundaries, like you have to do with any relationship. And what you're going to work yourself into is the situation where now, let's say you're on vacation. Well, you can work in the morning and do your morning meetings. And now you've got from 12 to 10 p.m. to do whatever you want to do. So still, you don't have to take a PTO day on vacation. And you can have a 10, 12-hour block of time that's still your vacation day. So that's sort of how you start creating those balances between hey, how am I supposed to travel? Just book your flight for 3 p.m. and do an afternoon flight. And you don't even have to tell your clients you're out of office that day. No big deal. So you start balancing, how do I have lifestyle flexibility combined with a job where I am very responsible for, a lot of the work that I'm doing. And so you have to create that. And the best way to do that is by setting boundaries early on and then continually training them that, hey, I use Loom. I don't get on meetings for every little thing. This is good for you. It's good for me. I only meet in the mornings. This is the definition of a fire and how you know when you can contact me after hours. Those kind of things. And it's going to make your life a lot better as a consultant.
Okay. I love that. Because one of the things we're talking about is is really kind of keeping track of your time, right? What And that structure is going to help you keep up with your time more, because then you'll have, if your meetings are in the morning, it's like I was on a meeting with that company for 30 minutes. Clearly, that's time for them. And then in the afternoon, you can do a better job of getting your emails out of your face. People know that that's your time to work. And you can say, okay, 1 to 2:00, I'm working on project deliverables for this company. At 2:00, I'm turning it off. And you can make nice little clean hours in there, so that's it. I would say it's taking projects and breaking them into bite-sized chunks. And a big part of that too is you might have bite-sized chunks that you can do in 30 minutes. You might have bite-sized chunks you truly need the whole half day to focus on that. And when your client,
the mental sort of piece that comes with, I got to do 4 hours for client one on this deliverable today. That's all I'm doing.
Yep.
The mental piece that comes with the fact that, you know, all of your other clients already know you're not available during this time anyway.
Right.
Unless it's a fire. So it's just nice knowing they're not expecting me to do anything. Now, if I'm behind on my deliverables for them, that's my fault.
Right.
But
right.
I have this time where they're not expecting me to hop on a quick meeting or be on an IM chat or answer a phone call. All those things are aside, then you can prioritize your time and how you use it. And it makes it much easier to track. So that's why I said like Clockify, that kind of stuff never worked for me. But when I can sit down and actually say like next 2 hours, I'm gonna knock this project down. That's when I can really get stuff done. Time tracking never worked because I never, if I'm gonna do something for less than 30 minutes, that's going to be hard to track no matter who you are. You've got to set off blocks of time. And that makes it so much easier. Like this hour, and I've heard this used in other industries too. They call it like I know like therapists have this thing they call a therapy hour, and it's 50 minutes. And the reason for that is you've got your, what I'll just call your Salesforce consulting hour, and that's 50 minutes you set aside to do hardcore work. And then the last 10 minutes are just sort of closing that thought out, thinking about what you need to do next when you have your next client hour, and just sort of making some quick bullets. This is what I accomplished. This is what I need to do next to finish out this particular thing I'm working on. And that last 10 minutes is just to close out that thought and take notes. A lot of people make the mistake of they will work right up until a meeting. And it doesn't work because now you've got to switch gears. You forgot what you were working on, what you needed to complete out, where you were struggling and where you needed some help. So I guess another pro tip would be always stop working 10 minutes before anything you have to do. That way you can use those last 10 minutes to close out those thoughts and take a few quick notes. So when you're coming back to it later, you're actually ready to roll, and it's well worth sacrificing the 10 minutes.
That makes sense.